Alright, what's going on, Forgotten Nation? I'm your host, FG, and today we're playing Defender, an arcade game released in 1981, and the breakout introduction of the now-defunct company, Williams Electronics Incorporated, who, before Defender, were best known for a series of pinball machines that they'd manufacture over the years. However, they saw the potential in the arcade industry in the 1980s, as well as the potential of financial gain based on some titles such as Space Invaders and Asteroids, that they decided to make another shooter game themselves, though this one being quite different from the others. Not only is there a bigger emphasis on side-scrolling action, but this is one of the first games that actually introduces multiple objectives in gameplay. And it's because of this gameplay that it would not only become a breakout success in the arcades, but would become a legacy of a game and a cult icon classic for the golden age of gaming. Because not only are you shooting aliens now, you're saving the planet. That in mind, we're going to go straight into the gameplay and further discuss Defender. So you play as a spaceship as you shoot the aliens that are trying to invade the surface. Now these are the basic enemies known as landers. And I don't actually know if they're aliens or if they're spaceships. I'm not entirely sure about that. But as you can see, they're trying to get to the surface and take on the astronauts that are sitting down below. Should they succeed in grabbing them, they transform into mutants. So I do like to believe that these are actually aliens. So that means the main objective of the game is not only to rescue the astronauts, but to kill the aliens as well. And you have to do it fast, otherwise they will either conquer the planet, or you're going to lose a life trying to save them. Now, should all the astronauts end up getting killed, let's just say it's a spectacle for the eyes. There we go, that's the first wave complete. Now, the gameplay is tough. However, there are two tools to your advantage that you can use. The first is the hyper jump. If you think you're going to take damage, use it and it will warp you to a further part of the stage. And the second tool, the one I used just now, is known as the smart bomb, which will wipe out all the enemies on the screen at once. Now with this game, there is free movement. As you see, I'm moving left and right, which means you're not only limited to just moving forward, you can move left, you can move right, up, down. So there is essentially free range in this game. And at a time where games like Galaxy and Space Invaders had you only moving left and right, this was pretty revolutionary for a shooter game. But, ooh, things are getting aggressive now. That's already game over. So we're going to go into it again and try. But wait for it. Ah, I thought I got a high score. Alright, we're going to give it another quarter. Alright. So there really is an emphasis based on time in this game because you're trying to stop the aliens from conquering the planets and kidnapping all the astronauts. Pretty straightforward as far as story elements go, but for what it is great. Definitely better than a game like Space Invaders, where the only emphasis is just trying to shoot the aliens that come above. What's their motivation? What are they after? How are they going to conquer the planets, unlike these aliens here? Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but for what it is, the game is great. Alright, so let's focus right now. One's about to get away, and it turns to the mutant. Alright. Oh, no! Oh, save us! No, get him! Got him. Now, it's worth mentioning that the arcade version of this actually has a pretty weird control scheme. Where I'm using a standard controller right now, the arcade game actually has multiple buttons for its movement. The only joystick is for moving up and down. Only up and down. Nothing else. Alright, careful now. Okay, we're gonna make the jump. Careful now. Ah. So it's strange to be moving left and right with buttons instead of a control stick. Because right now, I'm only using the control stick for movement. And it feels good as suspected. But I'm surprised they didn't decide to do that when it came out in the arcades, that they decided to go with the button format instead. The only other game I could think of that would do this is actually a later game called Pac-Land. And yes, it's a Pac-Man game. It's not that it's bad, it's just strange. I don't know, but that's a high score, so awesome. So we're going to put the initials in. One more. There we go. Alright. We're going to give this one more go, and I'm going to showcase what happens if you lose all the astronauts. But first, let's just focus on killing the aliens. So, playing this game, I want to compare it to a game like Rally X, which actually came out around the same time as this, as a matter of fact. You're going to be focusing mostly on that grid above, the scanner they call in the game. And it's for that reason that you tend to miss out on some details such as the enemy fire, which means it's pretty easy to lose lives sometimes. Alright. Ah, too soon. Save the astronaut. Okay, get him. Another thing worth mentioning that happened before is that the astronauts take fall damage. If they're high enough up and you shoot them from the aliens, they will fall down below and they will die. So this is essentially, you could call the first game that has real fall damage. Careful now. What a title. Alright, there we go, that's the first wave. Alright, so now I'm going to showcase what happens if you manage to lose all the astronauts. And a little warning in advance, for those that suffer from epilepsy or seizures, please look away now. Get him. Alright, wait for it. There we go! The whole planet explodes. That's what happens. The whole planet explodes. And now say I complete this wave, that planet's not coming back. It's gone. So that planet is therefore gone forever. And any wave you play in advance, you're not going to see the planet come back. It is Gone. So you're going to have to live with yourself that you just failed those astronauts and the whole planet has been destroyed. And along with that, the enemies also spawn were much more difficult. So at that point, it's kind of like an automatic game over. But hey, you failed the human race. Anyways, though, that's going to do it for Defender. A revolutionary game in the arcade industry at the time. How it holds up today? Pretty well. Still holds up pretty well. But it is still a very difficult game for the... even today. I mean, at the time it was difficult, but people loved it because of its difficulty. But playing it today, some people may be turned away because of its difficulty. I don't recall if there was ever an official sequel to it. I think there was. I think there was an arcade sequel released to it. However, even today, it has been mentioned several times, not just in merchandising, but even the game has been released in some forms, one way or another. One of the most recent, I believe, was actually Arcade 1-Up as part of the Rampage cabinet. I'd love to check it out, but I don't have $400. And one of my favorite merchandises of recent was actually LEGO Dimensions featured a mini Defender arcade cabinet you could build. It's green, so it kind of keys out, but pretty fun stuff. Pretty fun. But that's going to do it for Defender. So, if you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like or even comment below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. It's crazy, just the whole planet blows up if you fail. It just blows up! Ah, sheesh.